We've known it as the Tata 87X, we've known it as the Tata Buzzard, we've also known it as the Tata Gravitas. But this familiar yet unique Tata SUV is finally coming to a showroom near you, branded the all-new Tata Safari. The original Safari had a huge fan following. Does this one have the ingredients to take the story forward? First things first, Tata says this SUV was always going to go on sale as the new Safari. The little name game, it was to keep the secret from getting out too soon. While there have been strong opinions on the name, let's judge the SUV for what it is. And what it is immediately identifiable as, at least from up front, is a larger version of the Tata Harrier. The split headlamp arrangement is shared, and the only real difference is the new chrome finished tri-arrow pattern for the Safari's grille. From other angles though, you won't mistake one for the other. Designed to accommodate a third row of seats, the Safari sports a higher roofline, a longer rear overhang, features a full-size rear quarter glass, and the tail end is more upright too. Even the tail lights, though similar in treatment, are different. Adding some flavor to the Tata are its chunky roof rails that are styled to suggest a stepped roof, somewhat of a trademark element on the original Safari. In dimensions, the new Safari is 80mm taller and 63mm longer than a Harrier, though width and wheelbase are unchanged. All in all, the new Safari has a great stance that's only helped by the 18-inch diamond-cut alloy wheels. And visible through the wheels are the new rear disc brakes, which I'll get to in a bit. Curiously, while the rims are a size up on the Harriers, they're still of the same design. Inside too, some things are familiar. If you've been behind the wheel of a Tata Harrier, you'll immediately feel at home in the Tata Safari. The dashboard is shared between the two models, and the only points of difference is this ashwood trim on the dashboard and this new oyster white leatherette upholstery. Now, the leatherette upholstery in this light and bright shade looks really good at first glance, but I can tell you that it will be a pain to keep clean. In fact, we've been struggling to keep it clean over the course of this shoot. One of the other changes on the Safari is the switch to an electronic parking brake. The Tata Harrier's manual thrust lever-like parking brake has now gone, and what you get is this nice and easy to use button system. In other areas, everything you like about the Harrier is carried forward into the Safari as well. I really like the effect of this massive panoramic sunroof. It really opens up the Safari's cabin. I also like the mix of materials on the inside, especially the soft touch surface on the dash top. At the same time, things are not perfect. For instance, there is this jagged edge to the dashboard that keeps fouling with your left knee. And I would have also liked if Tata would have updated the infotainment system. The 8.8-inch touchscreen looks a bit small by today's standards, and even things like the rear view camera could have seen a few more pixels added. Shifting focus to the back, there's a detail that'll immediately strike a chord with fans of the original Safari. If there's one thing that connects Safaris old and new, it's got to be this theatre-style seating. What that means is the middle row seats are set higher than the front row seats, and what that gets you is a great view of the world outside. Do note the Safari will be available as standard with 7 seats, while the range-topping versions will get the option of a 6-seat configuration. Now, I'm in the Safari 6-seater, and that means you get captain's chairs for the middle row. But the seat to be on is this one right here for all the adjustability that it also packs in. I'll show you. So, using this boss mode function, you can push the front seat all the way forward. You can take your seat all the way back, and you also have the option to recline the backrest. There's also a nice and comfortable armrest packed in. The seat itself is also really comfortable. The seat cushioning is well judged, and almost everyone will find themselves very comfy on this perch. I say almost everyone because perhaps people with larger physiques or healthier body types like me will find the seats aren't quite as generously wide as you would have liked. There are no sunshades for the rear windows, and the USB slots are frustratingly hidden from view. And what of the third row? Now, getting to the Tata Safari third row requires some level of flexibility.
On the 6-seat version, the best way to get to the back is through this narrow passage between the middle row seats. So, what's it like at the back? Now, Tata had boldly said that the Safari third row will not be an excuse for a third row, and I think there was some truth to that. Now, the front and middle row are set to a comfortable position for someone of my size, yet there is enough room for someone like me to be comfortable at the very back. Yes, headroom is in short supply, but anyone shorter than me will be absolutely comfortable here. Again, the seating position is not as knee up as we are used to in typical third row seats, and Tata has also done well to pack in a blower control for the very last row. You also do get USB slots, and there's a nice window, though the aircon vents at the very back do hamper visibility.
Traveling with a full house does sadly mean no room for luggage. Lifting the heavy manually operated tailgate is a task and isn't worth the effort given the mere 73 litres of luggage space on offer. You do have the option to split and fold the third row seats to free up luggage room when you need. The 7-seat version offers more flexibility with its split and fold middle row bench, and the added practicality doesn't come at the cost of comfort.
The 7-seat Tata Safari will have greater appeal for buyers with larger families. Now, just as the 6-seater, it is a car that scores very well on middle passenger comfort. Now, again, you have a boss mode, so you can take the front passenger seat forward. You can move your own seat forward and backward. You can recline the backrest as you please, and the real point of distinction is just how comfortable this seat is, both in terms of back support and thigh support. This is a place you can be comfortable for long hours.
Access to the 7-seat Safari's third row is via the curb side. The aperture isn't the largest, but the one-touch operation for the seat fold and tumble and the damped movement is really well executed.
And once you're settled in, you'll also find that space is more than acceptable at the very back. In fact, the third row is one of the Safari's big highlights.
Before we get moving, here's a quick look at the features you get on the Tata Safari. Highlights include the panoramic sunroof, an impressive JBL sound system, and it's nice that connected tech is part of the package too. The list of safety features is long as well, with ESP impressively offered as standard. The Tata Safari uses the same engine and gearboxes as the Harrier. That's a 170 horsepower 2-litre 4-cylinder diesel engine with the option of 6-speed manual and automatic transmissions. From behind the wheel, the driving experience is similar too. There's good power, but in the case of the manual, you have to contend with a clutch that's not progressive enough and gears that need some effort to slot. Without a doubt, it's the Safari Automatic that's the one to buy.
The Fiat Source 2-litre diesel engine, branded Cryotech 170 by Tata Motors, is best enjoyed with the Hyundai Source 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, this gearbox is well in tune with the characteristics of this engine. Gear shifts are always timely, they're always smooth, and when you do want to take manual control via the gear lever, you'll find that the unit is quite responsive as well. The engine tends to groan and moan a bit when you're starting out, and also sounds a bit gravelly when you load it up, but things settle down quickly enough. In fact, you like this engine for its wide spread of power and how effortlessly it gets the Safari up to speed.
Driving modes, namely Eco, City and Sport, that alter power also help fine-tune the driving experience. What the Safari feels like with a full load of passengers is something we'll put to the test soon. Our quick timing runs did reveal the Safari, that's heavier by 75 kgs, to be just as brisk as the Harrier. Tata has enhanced the braking system for the Safari.
The Tata Safari will carry more passengers and hence more weight than the standard Harrier, and hence it was almost imperative for it to have stronger brakes. Tata has addressed this issue by equipping the Safari with rear disc brakes Now, if you're used to the Tata Harrier, you'll find the effectiveness of the brakes far superior on the Tata Safari. Stopping power is good, but the brakes do feel a bit mushy at the pedal.
What Tata could have worked on is the steering. It feels heavy at low speeds and tends to kick back too.
When you build speed, you'll also find that it's a bit inconsistent. There's slack at the straight ahead position, but give a few more degrees of lock and the big Safari will dart into another direction, and that can be disconcerting.
Tata has mildly softened the suspension on the Safari for a bit more comfort.
The Tata Safari is an effortless cruiser and gobbles up the miles without much fuss. But on wavy surfaces at high speeds, you will find that it's not quite as well tied down as something like a Jeep Compass.
Low speed bump absorption is what the Safari does best.
Like the Harrier, the Tata Safari makes light work of bad roads and potholes. In fact, this is one of those cars that tends to feel better and better the worse the road gets. And that's where its tough build really shines through.
Now for the elephant in the room. Is the new Safari Safari enough when there are no roads? With its monocoque construction and front-wheel drive layout, it's a radical departure from script to the old body-on-frame 4x4 model. And the fact is, any soul-searching missions to reclaim your life can't be too extreme. For its part, the new Safari does get wet and rough terrain response modes, and ground clearance is enough to tackle a mild trail.
The good news is that the Safari's Omega architecture does support all-wheel drive, and Tata says if there's enough demand, it could consider bringing out a Safari AWD.
Likely to be priced between 15 and 21 lakh rupees ex-showroom, the Safari will command a premium of about 1 lakh rupees over the Harrier.
The Safari goes up against the MG Hector Plus and will also see fresh competition from the new Mahindra XUV 500 and 7-seat Hyundai Creta over the year.
The new Safari is attractive, plush and well equipped, and the third row is genuinely impressive. Sure, it's not a versatile 4x4 as the original Safari was, but see it as the 3-row SUV for the family that it is, and you'll find that the new Safari scores where it matters.
What do you think of the new Tata Safari? Let us know in the comment section below, and if you haven't already, do subscribe to the Autocar India channel.